Good morning, HikeTalk. Hey, me and my little buddy out here. He is the master mole getter. Man, we've found, let's see, I think 6 total this week, dead moles. And one of them I found in the most ridiculous, most disgusting way you could ever find a dead mole, which was laying in my wife's office on the floor on the other side of the desk because my dog ingested it, and the whole thing not a good start to a morning. But you know what, getting outside and enjoying your life is. Hey, today we're going to talk about a few things. Number one, it's Memorial Day. Thank a vet for your freedom. This is one of the greatest days on the calendar throughout the year because it represents, just like 4th of July, our freedom. And if you don't understand it, you need to start reading some history. You need to get informed about how amazing, unbelievable this country is. It's the greatest country in the world, hands down, bar none. And again, if you don't understand that, you need to start getting some better information. This is the greatest country in the greatest time in the history of this planet to be alive and to be a U.S. citizen, or have at least have a passport, be able to partake in the amazing freedoms that we have. Yeah, this is an unbelievable day. I hope you make it's not just a day for partying, although I think we should all raise a glass and cheers to our veterans and all that have served to offer us the amazing freedoms that we have in this unbelievable country. So thank you, vets. Happy Memorial Day. Hey, today Hike Talk is going to be about Plateau. The Plateau. Yes, the infamous Plateau. We all hit it. Most of us don't recognize it. Most likely because you're not actually measuring what it is that you're doing in your life in the 4 life domains: health, relationships, recreation, and wealth. You need to get yourself in a position where you're measuring these things consistently so you can actually understand what's not working. And when I started when I was challenged to start the juice cleanse, that was something I've talked about doing for a long time, many years, and just, it's another thing, it's another fad. And again, because I didn't have enough information or the right information, I put it off. But the results are unbelievable. So again, I'm a big proponent of it. How often to use it for you will be completely up to you, obviously. But I would definitely find some real valid nutritionists and physical trainers that can help you on that journey. In that particular instance with nutrition, I'm a novice. Really, I'm an experimenter on myself, so I basically figure out my own hacks, what works for me, and that's exactly what you need to do for yourself as well. And the challenge with all of this is that if you don't have a good way to really understand and measure where you are, you're never going to understand this feeling that comes over you that, man, what is going on? I just don't feel like I'm alive. I don't feel like I'm really enjoying this experience we call life. And I can tell you, after now being involved doing this physically in my businesses for decades now, of understanding that you absolutely cannot manage what you're not measuring. And if you don't have a way to measure, then you don't know what's going on. And the minute that you do, we now can continue the pattern in our minds that help us walk through this process that helps us get to the end result, or the thing that's holding us back. But if you're not going to put yourself in a position where you're measuring consistently, then you're going to consistently run into the same roadblocks over and over. I call them plateaus, if you will. And so this last, so we just finished up a 2-week cleanse, which I was challenged to do 1 week. And I was like, I'm going to do 10 days. I did 10 days, and that was amazing. And I just kept going. You know, I had a whole bunch of people reach out, and they're like, well, when are you going to stop? I said, I don't know, whenever it feels right. Did I get the results I expected? I didn't really have any expectations of results because, again, I'm more focused on the process. I'm more focused on putting in the work, and the results will come if I'm doing the right work. And most people are focusing on results. Now, again, I just went through this whole banter about measuring results. Now you need to. But I'm not setting expectations in my own personal mind about the result necessarily, because if I focused on just getting that particular result, I'm always going to be pissed because I miss, probably 90% of the things that I set. But so what? Did I learn? Did I grow? Yeah. Ooh, another spider web. Oh, isn't that creepy when you go through a spider web and you're like, oh man, where is it? You just get used to it. Eventually it'll be crawling up the back of my ear and you just brush it off and no big deal. Get back there. Yeah, I get sidetracked a little bit. But this idea of setting expectations is really truly how you define winning. And if you want to win consistently, then you put the focus and effort, your expectation, on the work habit, the process. And I want to make sure I was hoping it was a deer so I could show you. I got pictures yesterday and the day before of tromping through the trees here, and there's a cute little deer right there. Unfortunately, it wasn't when I was videoing. So this criticalness of where you're placing your expectation will drive the feeling that you have, the excitement. That's why I'm fired up every day. People are like, man, so you never fail or you don't miss your goals? I'm like, no. Like every day I miss my goals and I fail, if you want to call it that. I don't call it failure. I just call it learning. I'm always in the process of learning. If you're always consistently calling it failing, where's your expectation set? You see, if I put the work in with all my effort, then that's my expectation. So if I did that, I get to check it off the list. And that makes me feel amazing because I'm actually doing the work. You got to check yourself. Where are you setting your expectations? Are they set on the end result, or are they set on the work habit? And I can promise you, if you start setting it on the work habit, that's something you can absolutely control. If you set it on the result, don't get me wrong, we're measuring the results, but that's just purely to drive what the next step is. And for me, I did this 7-day challenge, turned into 10, turned into 14. Well, I actually did 12 days of just pure green juice cleanse, which was unbelievable. And then I did essentially the whole day in day 13, 14 with just one small meal, and they were chicken tacos, baby, street tacos. So damn good. But instead of having 3 or 4 like I normally do, I just had 2. And that was on one day. And on day 14 for my victory, got to reward yourself, right? And the day previous, the 13th day, was just a quick little chopped salad. So point is roll myself through this process, and I every day I got on the scale because I needed to have something to measure. And the last 3 days, I basically have plateaued as far as weight drop, and I decided that I was going to stay pretty consistent in my training, my workouts, so that doesn't become the other variable. And so because I did that, then I have a basic benchmark in really understanding my activity levels. And so I was making sure I was getting at least 5-6 miles of a hike in every day, and cranking out 50 to 100 crunches, sit-ups, and then about 50 push-ups every day. So, and that was my training every day. And I got other walking in and cruising, moving around. But bottom line is I want to keep this test as consistent as possible and show people that, hey, you want to change your state significantly, how fast you can do it if you just commit to 7 days. Man, 7 days. You know, when I first started in the Journey 104, I call it, which was my 104-pound loss, or weight loss. And I had a buddy of mine, and he's always like, hey, you can do anything for 30 minutes. And then when it gets really tough, you're looking down at the treadmill or the cycle or whatever you're doing, or running or whatever it is, and you go, I can do anything for 30 seconds. And you focus on the 30 seconds, you get through it, and all of a sudden wow, I did it. And it gives you more energy. And it's this crazy little psychological game that I learned to play in my own mind that kept driving me to do it and keep going and keep going. I can do anything for 30 seconds, no matter how hard it is. You know, when I was back training in martial arts with my long time friend Jerry Santarosa, who has an amazing martial arts studio out in Maple Valley, Washington. If any of y'all have time in your life or want to make time in your life to go do something like that, he's one of the best around, all around, from Taekwondo to Jiu-Jitsu and just training in general. And you know, one of the things he would say is, you know, I want you to start doing push-ups, and until you can't do anymore, until you're physically thinking your body, you can't push your body, he goes, now we'll start counting. How many can you do after you can't do anymore? And I love that thought process. I love that mentality. It's just like this. It's very similar to this 30-second trick or this 30-minute trick. And if you look at the bigger picture here over days, and like I said, talking about this idea of getting results and measuring your results, managing results effectively, then you got to make sure that you're, oh man, sorry, I'm a little distracted. I got my tracker's telling me miles and elevation and all the other things. It's extremely annoying. But anyway, so getting back to this very important message is recognizing that your plateau is not your plateau. Just because you have recognized, finally, that's the first step, acknowledgement, recognition that you have plateaued. Then what's next? How do you move through the plateau? So for me, I did this challenge, and here I'm having these great weight drops every day, you know, expecting, and here it takes so little time to get your mind wrapped around having an expectation that the minute that I was like, wow, drop, 4 pounds, and then a couple more pounds, and then 1 pound, then 1 pound every day, basically dropping 1 pound. And then I hit a day, it's like, whoa, scale, and then it was like 0.4 pounds. And then it kept just slowing down. And then, one day I even gained a pound on the scale based on how I measured. And again, if you're not used to this process or understand this process, that extra pound, unfortunately, sets a lot of people off the deep end and saying, oh my God, I'm doing all this work and I'm expecting this specific result. And I can tell quickly, based on how people react, is that their mindset is about that number on the scale, and they're not focused on the actual journey they're taking themselves through and all the other massive changes that are going on mentally and physically, emotionally. And so I get fired up when people just start the journey and measure the results later. Now, in this circumstance, I wanted to measure every day, so I had something to actually teach and train and physically take pictures. So this was a real awesome experience for me day to day to really see how effective it is. But most importantly, now that I'm in this plateau, what am I going to do? And I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing because I recognize that my emotion, my feeling for the day is not tied to what I just saw on the scale, because here I'm out here every day getting my exercise in, training, and I know the results are going to continue, meaning the cutting or the weight loss. And then what happen is your body, this happens, anybody that's ever gone through this process, this happens. It's like when you're trying to lose weight and then also when you're trying to gain weight, is that you eventually will hit a plateau. And what happens is your body's all right, listen, man, you're putting me through a lot. I'm going to essentially equalize, if you will. I'm going to balance the system again. And those of you that know me know that I don't believe that we have balance in our lives, period. But your system is always trying to drive to a balance. And again, unfortunately, people don't recognize that balance or your feeling is really how you're driving it here. It's not what your body's telling you. It's what you're telling your body to feel and think. So when you hit the plateau, recognize that you're not going to really get any less result. It's just a place that your body's like, I'm super stoked for you, super excited about what you're doing. What we're going to do is we're going to give the body a little break, and we're going to start like, whoa, we dropped all this weight. We need to hold on to some. What's going on here? You like really shocked my system. And the body's going to hold on and hold on. And this is what I experienced is I just kept doing the work. And then all of a sudden, and if I didn't see any drop, then I got to ask myself, well, is the work that I'm doing enough to fire the metabolism in a new way? Because again, the new training program you're on has now basically plateaued, and your system's balancing its new normal. And so it's important for your body to plateau, whether you like it or not. And that way, you're going to have amazing results. Your system has to figure out how to normalize again. And once it normalizes, man, you're going to have another big drop. Or again, if you're trying to gain, you're going to have another big gain. But recognize plateauing is normal in the system. But plateauing in your life, we think is going to be different, but it's really not. The plateaus in your life are, again, you're going to be growing. And you recognize, hey, I'm stagnant. Why am I stagnant? Why is my business flat? Why is my feelings, my relationships, why are they all flat? Why aren't I growing? It's because you're not measuring. You're not giving yourself tools. Because if you're creating activity and you're learning, you're growing. I can promise you that. But if you're not getting results in your mind, it's probably because you're not writing things down and have a benchmark of your starting place. This is why it's important every year or throughout the year that you're consistently keeping up your personal financial statement, your PFS, so you can see everything you got going on financially, and you can recognize from year to year that it's really important to keep this concept of growth, because when in one area of your life, when you're stagnant, the key to consistently having confidence and courage to step through is recognizing that in some areas of your life you are winning, and because we're not focused on them effectively or consistently or have a measure tool, then you're not paying attention to where, hey, maybe in your business is sucking right now, right? But you're kicking ass in your health. Well, that would be good to know. So we have an amazing tool called what we call the E-scale, and it's, again, all the tools that I develop are very simple, because the simpler they are, the less friction to actually getting to it and using it, and the simpler they are, I pretty much know you're going to use it, and I know that you'll use it. If it becomes some big complex thing, it's going to be extremely painful. Then we know that most people will do it for a period of time, but it just takes too much time and energy to get to it. So we got really cool, simple tools like E-scale, and this is just a quick check. 0 to 10, health, relationships, recreation, and wealth. And at that point, you put some type of number down, and again, recognize that you're winning somewhere in your life, even if you're not paying attention to it. So, hey, we went really long today. That's okay. I'm gonna just deliver and hanging out, paying attention. The key to me doing this is certainly, of course, I have my wants, needs, desires, if you will, but it's really to help get everybody around me that I know on a path to winning. And I'm really excited about all the people that I don't know that are coming on board and paying attention to what we're putting out. This is certainly just the very beginning. You're going to see a tremendous amount of amazing information coming out in the coolest of platforms. So really excited again for hitting a plateau, because I know I'm ready for a tremendous launch into the next endeavor, adventure. So be excited about your plateaus. When you recognize them, put some type of measuring tool in place, and you're going to be fired up about whatever you got going on in your life. Unfortunately, most of us, we waste so much time worrying about what we don't have, what I didn't get, the whole woulda, shoulda, coulda. We live in regret, and that's not going to get you anywhere, as you know, as we all know. So just like in anything, the simplest of tools, the fundamentals are what wins. The key is, are you actually going to start? You just got to start. So hey, super excited about today. Thanks for spending a lot of time with me. This is Big D for HikeTalk. Please leave messages. I'm making these as long as they need to be, based on whatever's on my heart for that day, and we're just posting them, and hopefully you're sticking through all the way to the end to get the most, as they say, juice out of the squeeze. So God bless. Make it a great day. See you next time.